How's it going? So today I want to talk about revolution. I had an interesting insight last night about this idea of revolution and how, again, a lot of us might have learned in the history books or from past about, massive protests and people coming together and overthrowing a ruling elite or a ruling class of people who aren't operating in a way that serves the people. And I feel that there are various different levels which mean that this upcoming or what we're experiencing and undergoing isn't a revolution in that way. It's a shift or a shift in consciousness, a shift in paradigm, and that's a core belief structure that's ultimately transforming or dissolving itself to create a new one. And so, law of attraction, mindfulness, the I guess the rising of meditation, but I would like to talk about meditation more at some point, or just behavioral patterns. But all of this stuff to me is a big part of it, because when more and more people start to own their power and take responsibility for their words, their thoughts, and their actions, it becomes almost impossible to have a desire to inflict pain or to impoverish another because it's not necessary. So we're moving from a paradigm of lack, a paradigm of unworthy, a paradigm of disempowerment, and of levels really, and righteousness, where how could there possibly if I have this, you're not gonna have that. And so there's been I guess for a really, really, really long time, the grid on this planet has been fear due to separation, or a belief in separation and division and exclusion, and control, domination. So from that fearful place now, and this is a very deeply rooted structure in our, almost like in our DNA or in our cellular body, in a core level. And to me, and that's really actually why there's like 7 billion people here, and we've seen such an explosion and exponential growth in the human population, is that there are beings in the cosmos who are kind of coming to Earth to assist in its transformation. And the transformation of the Earth is one and the same as our own transformation. We are cleansing, we are awakening, we are purifying. And it's not something to rationalize or overthink about, because of course if we want to, if we desire it, we can go out, we can find plenty of information that would deny what I say or deny what somebody else says. But really, when we all attune to our core essence and speak from our heart, there is an element of extended worth, and that self-worth ultimately is part of the shift in paradigm. Feeling empowered, feeling like you can create your own reality, feeling like you're beautiful and that you're full of love, actually understanding and knowing on a deep level that we are infinite divine beings, that we are unique expressions of divine life force, and we are capable of anything. We've seen this in the past, and a lot of times in negative paradigms, or kind of what we might perceive as destructive paradigms. And obviously that paradigm is still in existence, or it's still kind of moving through the earth. It's just that it actually doesn't truly belong on this earth, which is why, again, there's been a lot of beings coming into human form on this planet to enlighten, to make these changes, to live from the different paradigm. Because although in my experience in this life, I've moved from control, domination, and fear through my own choices, I've moved through that place and worked myself and continue to work myself into the new. So into a more expansive, healed state, a place of unconditional love toward my own self, still working on that, and extending it out with love and compassion, because I've always felt, I've always been sensitive and sort of an empath, so I've always been able to feel other people's vibes, and through that, had a very compassionate heart. So nothing, a pain and violence has always been very painful for me to witness, even on movies and stuff like that. It's not been ever an enjoyable experience. So more and more of these empathic kind of light-filled, I guess, souls or whatever are coming to Earth, and through that, this dawning are sharing a message of love and light. And again, this is kind of related to a bit of my last vlog about the polarity, and for me, really owning the dissolving of the polarity structure. So really not holding any judgment to behaviors or anything that I might think is good or bad or right or wrong, because that's a limited viewpoint. There's a broader story here being told. There is a divine plan being undertaken, being acted out, and it's really cool that we get to have this experience. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily important, but it's happening from within us. We are waking up to the new paradigm from within us as we live. Simply that, as we live, as we bump into one another, as we have the experience, because the critical mass is rising, you know, or the mass awakening is rising. It's been rising forever, and we're finally getting to a point where a lot of us, it's almost like we can feel this approaching critical mass, that we're coming to this point that we can feel the scales tilt. And it's very, very beautiful. There's a lot of tribes coming together. There's a lot of people coming together in an enlightened way. And there's some core understanding that we're paving the way to the new. YouTube, social media, all of this stuff has actually been part of this this connectivity that has been needed on this earth to take place almost through the inner eye. So that we can communicate instantaneously, which is part of our inherent sort of psychic power or vibrational power as beings, as infinite beings, that we're actually in communication with each other all the time. We've got little antennas, but again, when from our limited past perception and the grid of control and domination, that has been veiled to us. So as we awaken to the broader realities, the tribes come together, new communities begin to arise, and gently and slowly but surely, there will be new ways of living for lots of different people if they choose. If you choose to live in the system of control and domination, that's fine. At any point when it's not serving you in your heart, it's time to unplug from it. And that's something that sort of dawned on me last night in a nice way, and which sort of inspired this vlog, is that the revolution's already happened. There's not, you know, if there's a collective of people who choose to create this revolution, this overthrowing of the government, that's still part of the old paradigm. That's still acting out in the past. So the new has been taking place for a long time, and in a way the revolution is about the individual, and it's about, so for me, my revolution has been happening, you know, since I decided I didn't want to watch TV anymore, and since I stopped watching the news, and since I stopped buying into the stories that the news was perpetuating. And over time, what's happened as I've unplugged, I've opened my heart, my mind, aligned myself, and been able to create a life that I actually enjoy living, that I love, and that I know it feels on purpose as I continue to share more. I hope you've enjoyed. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and peace out. Be in touch. Let me know what you think. Take care.
All to love. All to love.